And we return. Welcome back to the Game Arena, everybody. Yet again, Time Monster here, joined by the ever excellent Emily. Heading
What's up?
into our second match, I was correct in my prediction that we were going to an upper bracket match. Just to remind myself, I got to look at the bracket. We are going to Ohio Northern versus Baldwin Wallace University. We got some B-Dubs fans, I know, here in the booth. You want to take it away, Emily, a little bit?
I mean, I can, yeah. So, BW stepping into this. Obviously, most of these teams not super far. This specific iteration of the BW roster is actually relatively new. Most of these players, if I'm not mistaken, 4 out of the 7 were not a part of our Rivals program last semester. So a lot of these guys, not only new to Rivals, but also new to competition in general. Some of them coming from traditional sports backgrounds, but also just a lot of them very young team, very moldable team, but being led by a very experienced player in Cynics you're seeing in the middle. Was with the program at the start of its foundation, had a tenure in Valorant, and now is leading this Rivals team. So he's been around the block. And he's definitely going to be like kind of the cornerstone of this team.
Yeah, and for me personally, like as somebody who's participated in Gleck in the past as a player and as a commentator, Cynics is one of those names that I actually do recognize, believe it or not. And before you even said anything, I was like, oh, hang on, I think I know this dude. I think I know who this is. So it's good to see a tenured player, helping to coach and mold the next generation, as you were kind of saying, as we head into first map here, Hell's Heaven, or I guess it would be Hell's Heaven. I guess Hell's Haven makes more sense to me.
I would say Haven, but also they're spelled like almost the same, and I forget sometimes. So,
Yeah, just like verbally, it makes more sense to say Hell's Haven.
Yeah. I will say one of the interesting things with this BW squad, like a lot of the squads that like a lot of the BW squads that we've been seeing, is they have a full 7-man roster that they will rotate in and out of between maps. So currently you're seeing I Spy Garbage up there on the Punisher, one of our heavy hit scan players. But if you were looking at the graphic, Fairy Boy being the 6th that was on there, those two, I believe, are the main two that swap in and out between maps and modes. So expect to see potentially a little bit more coming in, but taking us over into the gameplay, ONU already trying to get an early environmental. Won't be able to get it though, and allows for a little bit of a stabilization as ONU able to strike first.
Big fan of the Angela pick here. It's the first time we're seeing her in this map so far. She can obviously work very well when the map has a lot of these open sightlines and a lot of these gaps, right, to fit through, and the cover that she can fly around here. Very, very unique skill set that this tank has compared to the rest, is trying to throw a couple people off the map, but they're just a little bit too mobile. And the first ultimate already on the field here for Baldwin Wallace.
Yeah, that aerial mobility that you can get from the Angela, not something that you see all the time, especially in games like this, but characters that have it generally tend to be pretty strong. ONU going to be able to win out on this team fight, able to get those final picks. Half of Waters and Broden combine, able to put ONU on the board first as BW needs to regroup and restructure.
A bit upsetting, I think, for Baldwin Wallace. The fact that they fought on so hard and so long and gave away that cap early means that Ohio Northern were able to just keep control and get around a third of the point before the fight really even ended there. As we hit 50% now coming into this next one, Baldwin Wallace get to build up to their second ultimate. They really need one soon, especially going against the Strangling Prison.
Yeah, and ONU already so many ults on the board or very close. Harry, we talked about it with that Angela mobility, able to get into the back line. Finds a little bit of damage, but no true picks. Half Waters could have been dropped there. Will be unable to, and Barbaric Eric gets the pick.
Disgusting hook, yeah.
Yeah, forces more of a stall onto this BW team, and now they're only really going to have like one good fight left if they want to take control of this.
The Unsong's Inferno available here for Braun Dennis. That will be one of the ultimates opening up here for Ohio Northern. Their row is beautiful, and that's going to be the first kill coming in here. There's another few ultimates driving around, but there's just so little to do now for Baldwin Wallace as they're bleeding players. That 99% officially ticks over into the waning moments of the first round. 99-0, more dominant than we have seen yet tonight.
Yeah, knowing you, finding a massive pick early in that last fight, a Gambit ulted final judgment getting shut down within the first couple seconds of it being on the board, so really no impact to be found. And now if you're BW, you're on the back foot, so you gotta start to dig deep and find out how you want to take this back.
And of course, both these teams playing that standard 2-2-2. The Angela has been not necessarily the biggest issue here, but it has been pretty problematic for the side of Baldwin Wallace, right? The tank has been difficult to handle. It's been disrupting the team so much, like you brought up earlier. It's so hard to figure out if that is the problem that you want to go for, though, especially, Syntax playing the tank on the Deadpool in particular. There could be a question there, right? Do you want to switch that up to something like the Mag? Do you want to switch over to the Strange, right? There are some picks that you could consider switching off the Deadpool for, but the Deadpool seems to be what they really want to commit to.
Yeah, it seems to be the identity that this team wants to go for. I Spy swapping off of the Punisher, going to be opting for that Iron Man, and at the side of Hungry Friar opting to go for the Punisher instead. So a similar-ish looking composition for the side of BW, but in the end, it's going to be playing very differently.
I like them changing some things here, Baldwin Wallace. They're not going for a full comp swap. They have the confidence to believe things aren't necessarily all going wrong right now, but we do need to make some changes in that Iron Man, right? As well the Luna Snow, like you kind of brought up a little bit there. The cap almost comes through. Look at this. 6 players on the point for Ohio Northern, and they're making it work. 2 kills, though, for Baldwin Wallace is going to negate any chance of it working out, as they're making some use of the Iron Man. They're making some use of the MO.
Yeah, big impact from the two of those. Like you were saying, Iron Man finding 3 off of just the repulsor beam, able to just cut people down. And now, again, ONU now going to be forced to break in the first real time that they'll have to attack a point that the other team has held this match. So it's all going to be about how they decide to do it. It is an odd crosshair. It's a dot, but crossed, but then angled slightly, so...
There's a few really good lineups here for the Strangling Prison, and it is going to go in, but I don't think it's found anything really major. It looked like it could have, and Ohio Northern are going to control this point side right now, and they got some ults to play around with, but so do Baldwin Wallace. There we go. A few ults dropping in. 3-2 in terms of kills so far, as the Phoenix will return to the fight. Can they find any kills with it? Doesn't seem so. 20 HP remains, and look at this. It's the execution from this Punisher.
Yeah, Hungry Friar on that Punisher. Something that we were talking about in the last game that I want to bring up now. Again, the parity between controller and mouse and keys. When you look at the 2 DPSs on this team, I Spy Garbage is gonna be your mouse and keys player. Hungry Friar is on the sticks. And so seeing this opting to go for this double hit scan, something that I wasn't innately familiar with them pulling out, but very obviously getting work done.
What are you thinking of this cap swap here, Emily?
Oh, the what?
The Captain America swap here for half waters.
Oh, wait, yeah. I think it could be interesting. Cap's a character that I have not seen a ton of gameplay from, especially like on the side of BW. It's been the main way that I've been watching these games, so it's something that I'm not as familiar with as possible, but I mean, if they want to go for a little bit more, from the way that I've seen him play, a lot more like aggro kind of frontliney, if they want to try that, I can see it working, especially, and we're going to be getting a little bit of a pause.
Yeah, I kind of agree. And we got a little bit of a weird dive orientation coming in here now from Ohio Northern, right? Switching off the Groot after the Strangling Prison decided that pick wasn't really in vogue for the team. Cap is less frontliney, I would say, still very frontliney, like can hold a frontline arguably better. But it shows more engage, I think. And when you're playing, you're playing the Bucky, Winter Soldier, you're playing the Phoenix, you've got a lot of engage potential. And obviously, you got the Angela. You've maintained the Angela the whole time. This time on a map where you can't just drag and drop people into the pit of doom. It shows that, to me at the very least, that you want to go in for more engages. You want to fight, go for the backline, which is an odd choice, I would say, in my opinion, against Snow and Iron Man.
Yeah, it is. I can see kind of the rationale, because I think it's kind of what we were talking that Manchester should have gone for against Scholars. They have a setup that if you give them the space, give them the respect that they want, they will just win. They can play that long sight line. They have those hard DPS carries, and they can just roll you. But now we see that ONU opting to go more for something along the lines, like you said, more engage, more that dive, more the let's skip this front line, let's not give them the space and the respect that they want, go for those back line, force people to fight up close. And I think, I mean, if that's a swap that they deem necessary, obviously they're the people in the game, they can do that, but it is something that I can definitely see working. I'm not sure, though, how effective it may be.
Right, and that's kind of why I felt like asking, because it did seem like a weird pick to me. Like, just looking at it for starters, right? I do have the stream paused a little bit earlier, pulled up on my second monitor. It was one of those things that kind of stood out to me. But Baldwin Wallace, like, I think it was just one change or two changes, right? It was, I think, just the snow and the Iron Man switch from those two. And outside of that, most of the same composition. And what a night and day change it's been, Emily.
I think the interesting thing about that is that it was only 2 character swaps, but there was a lot of rotation as far as what people were on. We saw the Iron Man get brought in, but the Punisher didn't get dropped, but the Punisher got shifted over to a different person, and Garbage sticking on the Iron allowed for a very different look. And now, going to be able to get back into it, see if that new look is going to be what allows them to be able to recapture this point and break back in.
There you go. The Royal Flush comes in here for Baldwin Wallace, looking for an opportunity to end this fight faster than it can start. The Luna Snow ultimate dropping in as well. That's 2, but there's not much else that it seems like they're going to need here. The cap sooner rather than later is what they're looking for, as I repeat. And it seems as though Ohio Northern, they're fighting the cleanup, believe it or not.
Yeah, they were able to, BW was able to get some of those opening picks, but they weren't able to find the final picks that they wanted. Yeah, it's such a big stagger onto Cynics. That's going to leave BW really with only 1 fight, but it's going to be scrappy at best as far as touch goes.
It looked like Baldwin Wallace should have been able to win that fight out. It really, really did. I'm shocked that Ohio Northern were able to turn things the way that they were. Rocket Raccoon now coming out here for Baldwin Wallace. As well, I didn't notice this bling on the Magneto. He's got the Meteor available for this next fight, but Captain America in the backline, he's going to cause some havoc.
Yeah, the alt pop allowing him to, and he's going to try to play this fast, but it's not going to find a lot of, it's not going to find any picks. It's just going to find a lot of stall, because now your 3 subs, they have to look back. They have to respect this. BW barely able to get 1 on at the last moment. The shutdown onto the final judgment from Bling could allow for a little bit more of a fight from this BW side.
So low there. Did Ace Llama go, and they will find the kill there, as there's another switch here. Baldwin Wallace are seemingly unsure as to what they want to play, but every time they switch, it seems like it's working out more and more. 93 HP needs to get out here for half waters if they want a chance here, Ohio Northern. And they seem like they will be able to get that chance.
Yeah, they will be able to, but that unpredictability in the BW comp that you mentioned, I'll touch more about it potentially on the in-betweens, as we're getting what looks like our last fight. Cynics trying to lay down fire with the Deadpool, just hold ONU back as hard as they can. OT is popped. The Phoenix ult going to be used. Doesn't find anything, but the Psylocke is actually going to be able to find 3.
That's 3 kills in a clutch that was so needed there for Baldwin Wallace. Just as a reminder, this has been a long round. Ohio Northern won the first 100-0, and we're moving on to the third.
Yeah, a big back and forth there. ONU getting on to the point of the 99. But then BW able to capture it and able to bring it back. Able to get Frozen Airfield, bringing us to our final round here of Control. And like you mentioned, BW, that inconsistency in comps, it's one of the things that I think is most stark about their gameplay compared to other teams. If they go full 5, full 6 down, it is almost guaranteed that next fight, something's going to be different. And they're really abusing the deep pools that every person has on this team, as well as the alt charge that carries over between characters.
And I'm so curious to see what's going to happen when they get their 7th player in. And I want to point out, I Spy Garbage has the most damage on the team, not the most in the lobby. Broden has way more at 15,000 compared to the 10K, but Still, I Spy Garbage, they decide that's the player they want to switch over to support. And I actually agree, despite the damage output, when you look at the KD, 7 and 5 for I Spy Garbage, it's a good call to ignore the damage there and focus on the players who are getting more use out of the damage they are getting out. I really respect that decision from Baldwin Wallace, and I really respect that decision from I Spy Garbage.
Yeah, I also know he's one of those, he's not afraid to do that swap, but he's also not afraid to play some of the more damage-heavy subs. I've seen him on Ultron a lot in their games in that regular collegiate season. So it's definitely something that they're not afraid of, nothing that they want to really shy away from. The Royal Flush will come out. I Spy will be able to find the first onto Broden. That could be the opening that BW is looking for. Forcing a lot of the ONU players back, and they're going to be able to, I was going to say should be able to get the first cap uncontested, but there is going to be still people on the point that they need to deal with. Bling will be able to clean it up, and that's BW with control of the first point, building up their percentage first.
It looked scrappy, it really did. You brought it up between the rounds, how scrappy it's been, and things are not slowing down on that front. The Wolverine can make it even more so. But that first moment there, where it looked like Ohio Northern were going to win. They got the first kill, and now Baldwin Wallace, they get the first kill in this fight, and it's not looking as redeemable for Ohio Northern as it was for Baldwin Wallace. There's no positioning, no players who are able to be caught out here for B-dubs compared to where Ohio Northern were in that previous round. Maybe Hungry Friar, but, I mean, Psylocke, not too scared on the flank.
No, absolutely not. And that's one of those things where when we look at these comp swaps and stuff, Hungry Friar is one of those players who's comfortable going in solo and trying to get something done on the backline. But you have a movement like ONU trying to move through. They're going to be able to get big damage. BW going to be the first to fall. It will be I Spy Garbage, and it looks like there won't be any instant res. ONU getting 4. Now 5. Hungry Friar just trying to stay alive so he doesn't get staggered. It looks like it might be done. So BW not going to be forced onto as weird of a rotate or as a respawn as it could have been.
Both tank ults invested there for Baldwin Wallace. They're coming in with 3 compared to 4. Solid 4 ultimates. Count them up for Ohio Northern. Not the most powerful ultimates, admittedly, but still, you have 4 very strong ults available. It's going to be a question if the 2 support ultimates for Baldwin Wallace are going to be enough to turn the tides here. As the Psylocke goes in, but the first kill is already Ohio Northern.
Yeah, ONU have been able to get so much. The pop of the Invisible Woman as well. Hopefully going to be able to sustain BW. That Phoenix ult coming in. Broden at such low HP, it'll get him back to full. BW able to get 2, but ONU responds with 3. Could be seeing a little bit more of that fighting. Cynics trying to get things done, but so low. With none of those subs really left, will have to concede it. And that's going to be ONU able to take the lead in this map number 3. Could be looking to close it out.
And they got a decent fight, but the thing I want to point out is the early kill into I Spy Garbage that forced them out of the fight from most of the beginning. Now moving into things, Rocket Raccoon, you have that ultimate, you have the Sia available, and that's going to be the only ult on the field to start off with, as they're just going to be able to bully through this point.
Yeah, Royal Flush called in as well. BW now up on ults. They could be getting stuff done. They have definitely have the ability to. 1 player left on the point, and BW actually able to steal the capture back without any kills really necessitated. And now they're the ones holding the front line. They're the ones with control over the point. They don't need to make the aggressive first opening. They just need to wait for whatever ONU tries to pull.
Oh, but they do so need to make an aggressive opening here, Emily, as Cynics has the next ultimate online, and if you look at Ohio Northern, they're about to have support ults online. The Royal Flush is on, and they get it down. This is bad news for Baldwin Wallace. Despite the fact that they have the cap, they need to find a way to win. But with the ults coming through for Ohio Northern, 2 dropped in, 4 kills are rewarded with, and now the final fight has been called, and Ohio Northern get the cap.
Yeah, BW, they might have a final touch here, but it's going to be scrappy, and it's going to have to come in soon. 10% left. BW just now coming out of their spawns. The Angela, like you said, able to pepper so much. And the last second swap from Cynics onto that Doctor Strange allows for the TP in to force the OT.
There we go, the Invisible, it's a necessary one. That'll keep them alive. Look at how it covers the entire point. It'll last longer than anything else on the field, but now there's no ultimates. Now it's a pure game of mechanics, and Baldwin and Wallace are seemingly losing it out early, 2-2 on kills. Baldwin and Wallace, their health pools are looking far lower than Ohio Northern, who are cleaning house. The Wolverine at max stacks, max charge, blowing through the remainers of Baldwin Wallace, but here comes the Sidewalk ultimate. It finds one kill, but there needs to be more. The Meteor M drops. Nothing else needed here as the touch is not there. Ohio Northern scrap it out.
I thought BW was going to be able to touch at that last second, but yeah, no. First map made me completely underestimate how tight this series is going to be. That 100-0 BW looked like they had nothing to do with the entirety of the first point. But we get into point 2 and point 3, it is a completely different story, able to hold on and force a really interesting map number 1. But in the end, those who strike first, able to strike last. Ohio Northern take that 1-0 lead in our series.
And it was seemingly looking to be an advantage for Baldwin and Wallace on how the map was oriented, right? When Ohio Northern capped, they got put down below, right? The low ground was given to them. But when Baldwin and Wallace capped, they got given the high ground by the natural, map adjustments. So Ohio Northern, they had to play through a mild disadvantage every single fight almost, and they still managed to win that third round out. I expect this to be a very scrappy second map here heading into things.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw it in that last, we saw it in the back half, and looking at sort of the stat lines and the laydown, I mean, the only thing that you can really say for BW is just going to be lacking in the damage department. Still, like, no player incredibly low, every player breaking 5 digits, but when you look at it, ONU having one player sitting at around 25k, and the highest on BW I think was around 17.
It's rough. I mean, what is there to do? Is the second map is they're thinking about it. They're going to Convoy, it seems. They're hovering between Yggdrasil's path. And yeah, that's what they're going to go for. We're seeing it for the second time in this series.
Yeah. My one concern, I think, is going to be, like we were talking about when this first came up back in the Scholars Manchester match, is just those long-range Angels. Just how is that going to play into things? We saw iSpy, able to play onto that Iron Man. We saw the side of Hungry Friar able to play into something like the Punisher. So those long-range angles definitely can play a factor. But really, I think the bans are going to tell the entire story of this game and just how everybody chooses to isolate.
Yeah, I mean, that was a very fast ban for Baldwin Wallace. They don't like the Mr. Double D, do they?
Apparently not. I know we've had some players that are like good at it, but I suppose it's that thing where it's like, hey, we can kneecap ourselves, but definitely take out the impact that your team could have.
And now we're going to see, actually, I don't think we saw any Moon Knight on map 1, if I remember correctly. Am I mistaken on that, Emily?
None that I saw. I definitely know. I mean, I know that like BW as a team has players that are good at Moon Knight. I assume ONU the same because of that save. But looking at these hovers, though, not seeing it, at least in the early game, could be seeing it obviously come through with that protect. But so far, nothing much to say. BW also opting to protect the Groot, and they're going to be banning out the Gambit. I like this. I think both teams are getting big value out of it, so I think it's going to be interesting to see playing without that Royal Flush on the table.
I was about to say, I think Ohio Northern, they were getting, I would say, a little bit more value out of the Gambit, and in particular, the Royal Flush. I think they got it more often. I think they got better value out of it when it was used. I do think that Ohio Northern looked better when they were able to play the Gambit than Baldwin Wallace. I do expect this to be a good ban for B-dubs. And coming in on the other side, Ohio Northern, they opt to get rid of the Hella. What's your take on this ban?
I'm just interested. I mean, like we talked about, it's a map with a lot of open air. Magneto save makes sense. Wowzers. Yep. But it's a map with a lot of open air, so I think if you can get into a good position with that Hella ult, we kind of saw Manchester pull it out at the end of like the first point. But I really think that teams that have that better positioning and able to get like really open sight lines can do a lot. last couple of bans coming through, the Phoenix and the, why am I blanking on words? The Rocket getting banned out. I think that's fair. I feel like ONU was getting a lot of value off of the Phoenix ult that we were seeing come through, and I feel like ONU banning the Rocket, not only seeing a player not afraid to swap onto it, but also seeing a player, well, taking out the ability for an insta-res, I think is crucial.
Yeah, and I mean, with how good it was for Baldwin Wallace on that previous map, like you did mention earlier that Ultron is an option here for Baldwin Wallace. I wouldn't be shocked to see him come out, right? If you want to play that triple support, I would say in my heart of hearts, I would assume that Ultron would be stronger in that position than Rocket. So I'm not too concerned with Baldwin Wallace's ability to switch over to that type of composition if they deem it necessary. But we're going to see Group Mag on the side of Baldwin Wallace. Meanwhile, Ohio Northern, they got big man, big green man.
Big dog stepping into the server for the first actual time today. I think Scholars were hovering it at the start of their game.
Blastoise, big bad Blastoise.
Big guy. But no. But for this offensive, BW going to be the ones to push the rock first. ONU going to have to hold them back as best that they can.
So much damage. Wow, Cynics takes so much chunk, swinging around that corner so wide, and does give a little bit of ult charge to the supports, but more importantly, the Moon Knights here, in particular, I show garbage up at 80%. I started that sentence at 50, now at 80, about to have the ultimate already.
Yeah, it's
how the hell?
I mean, that's just the power of Moon Knight in this with the Unks, that you're just able to auto-target that and it'll do the damage in a sphere. It allows for just so much damage buildup. And like we saw, already popped his ult, already back to 20%. Like, this is a match where we are going to be seeing a lot of ults getting thrown out, a lot of damage getting put back and forth.
Don't forget that the ult rate was nerfed across the board, by the way. Just built it up so fast, regardless of that fact. Switches over to the Iron Man. Enough of the Moon Knight decided. I'm interested in this one, but there is no multitude of long-range pressure for Ohio Northern. They are going to rely solely on Barbaric Eric, on the Punisher, to take care of the Sky.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're able to either win that ISO'd fight, I mean, you could have full free range, but...
Did I call Deadpool Iron Man?
No, there is an Iron Man. Well, I Spy was on Iron Man, at least I thought for a second. I might be going insane too, so... You know.
No, I think I called Deadpool Iron Man.
I see.
Yeah, Red, superhero characters,
Red,
I don't know.
he got a mask on, he shoots. Yeah, close enough.
Yeah, basically the same thing.
Might as well be.
If anybody in chat can name a difference between Deadpool and Iron Man, this other than cancer, I will be shocked.
The wounds are gone.
Just quite frankly, it's about to have 6 ults.
That's an insane thing to say. But no, yeah,
sorry.
About to have the full rotation up, and now we're seeing an opt away from the Moon Knight or the Iron Man onto the Human Torch. Like you said, limited ability to output really to really contest this height. You could have something going, but Hungry Friar, he's going to drop early, and that is going to be the go button for ONU, looking to break that line, get a pick onto BW as well. So again, still only at 5 here. And for the side of ONU, effective holding of this. Pop of the ult for Luna, but more damage. That's just getting output by the Moon Knight, and that's just ONU holding things down.
You can't lose a fight like that if you're Baldwin Wallace, where you get, the 2 support ultimates into things. Granted, Ohio Northern did as well, but I think that I would value Luna Snow Ultimate a little bit higher, and 2 people died theoretically in the middle of Luna Snow Ultimate. It's an unfortunate, misposition there. But it's because the sight lane got cut off by the payload, and now Cubby's going to switch over to the invis. I think that's expected based on how well Berserk has been doing on that pick.
Yeah, Bling able to get the opening pick, and a Psylocke ult coming through will allow for more bullying of that backline. Able to find one. BW actually getting a lot of these done now. 4 picks. Last ones up are going to be the Moon Knight and the Hulk, but they are going to get forced back. Hungry Friar trying to see if he can get a pick before the Hulk regroups. Is not going to come to fruition, so he opting to give the retreat for ONU as BW now. Well, I was going to say they're just a little bit away from getting it through, but trying to get a little bit tricky.
Very weird portal here. I'm surprised it's managed to find its value. Nice little snipe there from Harry, Emily.
Yeah, no, I was at a big find onto the side of Cubby. Now could allow for a little bit more. Trying to get this damage out. You have the Brawl, another pop of the Luna ult. Should be able to keep BW alive. Hungry Friar able to find one onto Barbaric, but the Eye
cancels out. The Luna Snow cancels it, I think.
I was going to say, I didn't see a ton of impact from it. The Cloak and Dagger ult coming out now could apply some more. Half Water going to be able to get the pick onto Bling, and now it's just a matter of who can sustain. Harry able to find 2 on that. Bling gets dropped, and BW stopped right at the line, unable to get the first pick through. Just have distance to work off of, and ONU looking primed to take this series 2-0 and move forward.
A heart wrencher there for Ohio, or not for Ohio Northern, but for Baldwin Wallace. I Spy Garbage able to get the freeze on the Strange ultimate. Can't find anything to follow it up. If Harry got put into banner right when the chase down came in from Hungry Fire, I think that changes things. I think that confirms that first cap, but the fact that they're able to keep the Hulk ult without having to switch off of the, like, switch off, switch back, like it's Diva and Overwatch, right? That single-handedly, I think, saved the defense from going any more sour than it could have.
Yeah, and looking at these numbers, unfortunate scenes for the side of BW. Obviously not a great time in general, but I think not necessarily the worst of the worst, but an unfortunate symptom of what happened is going to be that stat line from I Spy. 1 kill, almost 10k damage. So much damage being output, but just not quite capitalized on. And unfortunately, that's the cherry on top. That's the last piece that you need to really put things together. So ONU able to bring that one across the line, and now looking for the cleanup here in our map number 2.
Yeah, and I think that was only about a minute and a half of playing the DPS there, playing the Moon Knight for I Spy Garbage. That was mostly support gameplay, I'm pretty sure, from the player there. And now ONU, they're going to play so confident. Look at this, just walking forward, and Baldwin Wallace, they have to give up so much space to respect the Groot.
Yeah, they don't want to play into the Groot, just give him all of the ability just to essentially do whatever he wishes. But I mean, for the side of BW, you're losing space so fast because of that play. There's been no picks so far, and already the cart over halfway to where it needs to go in the end. If you're ONU, BW, they need to start applying pressure back, but Hungry Friar is going to be the first one to drop.
And they got the Khonshu dropping in there from Broden. Almost drops. They are not able to find any value off of that ultimate, just some space, and they almost lose their Moon Knight for it in the end. 80% here to the Strangling Prison. That is one that can end the defense where it stands, and Eric doesn't want to even get to that position. They have ults available if they even need them, but at this point in time, Baldwin Wallace, it's a stagger touch if anything.
Yeah, and there's the final judgment coming through as well. If they want to get that stagger, the unfortunate circumstance is that everyone is going to be looking directly at you as you come through that portal. It's just ONU all day right now. I Spy and Rugged look like the two able to make it through, but I Spy is going to go down, get focused. Rugged should be a similar story. The drop as well. And ONU, I mean, I'm a little spoiled because they're right in front of me, but able to bring it across, and that's the game.
So close. Excuse me. Sorry, I didn't sleep great last night. But so close to the touch there at the end for Baldwin Wallace, but how much more could you really do? You saw how well Ohio Northern were playing the space game. right? Compared to Baldwin and Wallace, they seem so scared and unable to claim some space at the start, right? They did start with the group. They started with an almost identical composition to what Baldwin and Wallace showed, and they weren't able to take space. I'm not sure what the difference was. In my eyes, it seemed like it was a simple tank difference. And I'm not saying tank gap, haha, but the way that they were able to just walk forward with half waters on the Groot and take space, it was something that Baldwin Wallace couldn't replicate prior.
I feel like it's a combination of tanks, but it's also got to be thrown onto the MVP there, Broden. The amount of damage and output that we were seeing from that Moon Knight, not only with the several ults, but also with just the raw damage, the raw impact that Moon Knight was able to find. And Barbaric Eric, I mean, not as hard carry of a Punisher numbers as we've come to expect, but that's also, you know, when you're looking at Scholars of the Game with Roku putting up, you know, like 22 and 25, so it's like, hey, I can't complain. But still, putting up good numbers, 14k damage, and consistently shutting down any sort of flyers that BW tried to put out. So your options were either push into the tanks that you're not getting effect from, or play a flyer and get shut down by the Punisher. It's a lose-lose situation.
Two sides of the same coin, and that coin is death. Dominance there from
much. Welcome into the booth. Great to see you. I was going to say again, as we were saying last time, able to bring more players in here. Welcome into the booth. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you, thank you. I mean, couldn't have done well without my team. I mean, my goats Brendan and Hunter out there just carving a path for me to play well. So
I was gonna say it was good stuff throughout the entire series. So first of all, obviously we didn't see your first match, but winning that one and then bringing it here, you've qualified for Sunday. You've made it to top 4. So, you know, was there a goal set for this event other than just like win the whole thing?
I just want to come out here and like have a good time. So I mean, and obviously any winning we do is like really good too. So I mean, I really want to get to the second day, which that would be really nice, and we have. So hey, there's only up to go from here. So
pretty much, yeah. I mean, I was going to say, going through that match, I mean, the control, I mean, has got to be the entire story. Winning the first point 100-0, and then that second point there, just chaos, just the entire time.
I probably should have swapped a mag or something, but I was kind of feeling it on the Angela, so it was like, just try to stick it. And then, I mean, we ended up swapping, and then we ended up making some pretty good calls on the third map to go and get us through. So.
Yeah.
So one question I want to ask you is, you've played 2 teams today so far. Baldwin Wallace was your second opponent. Your first opponent was Shawnee State Academy. Which team, obviously Shawnee State Academy, I don't have the highest of expectations for the answer here, but which team do you think was the harder of the 2?
I'd probably say Baldwin Wallace, because they ended up like getting a point off of us, and it was a lot harder. And I mean, and like no offense to Shawnee State, but they are the academy team, so it is more expected for them that to be the result. So I'd say definitely Baldwin Wallace. I'd say was more of a issue for us. Man, I was not expecting to hear another voice. That caught me so off guard.
I am the secret second caster for the day. No, but I'm just casting remotely from home. Hello, hope you're having a good time. How is it in the venue so far for you, my friend?
It's pretty good. I mean, the setups are really nice, except when I had to load shaders, it took like really long on my PC for whatever reason, but then it got through. But then the room's really nice, except we have to keep the door open when we're not in game because it does get a bit hot. But they did put a fan in there, so it's fine.
Yeah, a little toasty in the booth in there. Yeah. I mean, I was gonna say, like, obviously good performances so far. Tomorrow, obviously we don't have the result of that game when we were showing it on there, but you're going to be facing Scholars. You're going to be facing the main team from Shawnee. You have anybody that you really want to play out of those 2, or just even for the entire event?
I mean, kind of like Scholars, because I have no idea what they're like, and they just have like the SpongeBob picture, so it's kind of intriguing. So I want to see what they're like. So, but I mean, if we end up playing Shawnee, then I mean, so long as it's a good game, it should be fun.
Fair. I was say, Ty, any questions from beyond the booth?
From beyond the grave. Ooh, I'm good.
All right. Any final things you want to say to everybody tuning in from home?
I mean, thank you all for coming out here. I just want to shout out my team again. Hunter, who's Half Waters, Ace Llama, Barbaric Eric, Pfizerk, and Wait, who did I not say? Wait, I'm gonna hate myself when I realize that. It's gonna be someone that I thought I already said. Did I already say Ace Llama?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, no. Who am I? Who am I
Bad
forgetting?
teammate, bro.
Oh, Brandon, of course. Okay, Brandon. Okay, no, I got all five.
I was like, we hate to put you on the spot, man.
Okay.
Yeah, no. Thank you for stepping into the booth. Always a pleasure to talk with teams whenever they come. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you here tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, just set it down there.
I'm
yeah.
back.
Thank
I'm
you
back
again.
to life.
Whoa, you're like real now. That's crazy.
Whoa.
What?
Trans women are real?
Who could have seen that coming? But no, I mean, good stuff from both teams. A fun game for sure. Like BW putting up a fight in that map 1, but that map 2, I mean, all you have to talk about is ONU.
It was an exceptional performance. Just the way the macro was played from ONU was exceptional, above and beyond the expectations I think anybody could have had. Really just so well played. I cannot overstate how impressed I was with ONU there. And I do hope to see Baldwin Wallace make a bit of a loser's run. Their next match is against Manchester, who we have seen already, and I would probably give the edge there to Baldwin Wallace from what we've seen. So I do kind of hope to see them make a run and make their run back against either Scholars of the Game, if Scholars of the Game becomes, the team in that grand finals. Maybe Shawnee State is there, or Ohio Northern. There's 3 opponents, and I want to see Baldwin play any of them.
I just want to see this bracket continue to give. I feel like we've seen a lot of really good teams so far in our first couple matches. Scholars, as we were able to speak with, one of the a team that very limited practice, but we can just see a lot of that mechanical prowess on the side of things. And from both ONU and BW, both those teams giving each other a lot of trouble, kind of vying back and forth for that bit of control in the end. So I'm just excited to see the rest of this bracket play out. I feel like we've got a lot of great teams here and a lot of great rivals to still be played.
Absolutely, and we're not gonna be done quite yet with the I almost said Rocket League, Marvel Rivals.
Rocket League.
No, not that game today. But we're gonna go to a quick break. I'm not sure which match I'm looking. It should be a losers quarters coming up next, and we will see you there for that.
Yeah, we'll see ya.